Oh, hi. I was just gonna tear this meter down. Yeah, I'm not sure what tools to use. Hey guys, if you like teardowns, give comments, give a thumbs up. Really appreciate that. And let's do it. Hey guys, what's up? Eddie Alho here with KissAnalog.com. I just did a review on this KPS multimeter. I'll put the link down below in case you haven't seen it. But you know, part of that review, it kind of went long. I never cracked it open. I'm really curious to see what's inside this thing. So let's bring the camera over here, jump in, look under the hood. All right, let's do it. Yeah, this is a great meter. Nice display on this thing. Cover up the thing. I don't know. I got bright lights in here, but you might be able to see the light still turning on. Kind of probably hard to see, but it's got a nice bright display. Dual display. So right now we're doing maximum readings, and we can go to minimum, and it just holds the reading here, shows you the current reading here. So just a great little meter. But yeah, it would take me a long time to show all the features, but yeah. All right, so to open it up, it has kind of a soft rubber case. So yeah, there's actually not a whole lot to the rubber case part of it. So and that's what the back of the meter looks like. Pretty simple. It looks like we have one screw and a couple places to put a fingernail on either side to pull the case up. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. All right, so there's the case. And yep, screw falls out, so it's not a retaining kind of thing. Now this piece here is not, I mean, it's flexible because it's so big, but it's also very rigid when you go, you know, when you bend it against, you know, the pressure points like that. So you see the two clips in here, but so from the back of the meter, we can see it takes 4 double A's and the fuses. Now the fuses are captured, so even if you drop it, they're not going to get bumped out of their spot. And you can see there's place to pop out the battery on either side. So let's go ahead and take the batteries out and the fuse. Okay, now first of all, just taking the batteries out, I see the circuit board right here in the corner. Other than that, it's all sealed up, so it, you know, protects you from whatever's happening to the meter, and it also protects the meter, except for that little corner. If the battery's leaked, you could get a little leakage down that corner. Other than that, looks pretty, and you know, the batteries are cradled nicely, and you can see how, you know, easy it is to see the designations here, the little prints on which way the batteries fit, so no accidental install there. Okay, so let me carefully pop out the fuses. It always feels like that's a lot of pry point there. I don't know, maybe that's kind of funny that I always grab them by the ends like that. Seems like a easier way. Now ASTM, so 11 amps, so that's a UL fuse, so that's definitely a high rupture fuse is what we want. And I can tell this one is as well. Okay, you know, they're 1,000 volt fuses. So this one here is the 440 milliamp. Okay, so it even says right down here, so you can't put them in the wrong place. The 400 milliamp, fast action, 1,000 volt, 11 amp, 1,000 volt, fast action. So that you see that right there. Okay. All right, so now we've exposed 2 more screws. Now, by the way, there's an insert there, so you're not screwed into plastic. It's a metal insert, you know, a threaded insert. And we got 4 more screws to pop off the back. And by the way, this case, even with the battery compartment gone, it is a super, super rigid case. I mean, super hard. I mean, I don't feel any flex at all. All right, so let me get the last screw out. Okay, there we go. And let's see, it feels pretty snug. Now right away, you can see how deep the little channel is where this plastic gets inserted. So now I'm going to be careful because we've got this readout up here, and there sure enough is a board right there. Okay, here's a connector. All right, there we go. So, all right, so first of all, behind the batteries we have shielding and shielding in this area. And we have this little circuit board where you can see the little LEDs right up in here. Okay, it's pretty much all there is, it looks like. So, all right, and that's kind of glued in place. So we'll leave that. Let's take a look at the board. So first of all, if we look where the shielding goes, it's covering the knob, this area in here, and pretty much all this area up here. Okay, so we have this big chip here. Let's take a look at that. All right, guys, let me swing this around so we can read that chip. There we go. I mean, this thing is chock full of ICs. There's a little Bluetooth module here at the top of the meter. Here's a little PTC down here, you know, resettable fuse, a little green surface mount guy. And our crystals and poly caps. So I don't see any aluminum electrolytics, which is nice. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. There's the top of the meter. Okay, now let's look at the protection scheme, the isolation. First of all, voltage isolation is very nice because we have a board up here that's isolated from the board down here just by that space, all that distance. And then we just have these little posts going down to the board to take the signal down. We have some large surface mount resistors across here. And yeah, we have some more surface mount resistors here. And then what else do we have? We have this nice swiper. I don't see any vias in the tracks, which is real nice so they don't get rubbed. See the places where the fuses go. And what else do we see? Here's the battery terminals coming in. There's a power supply region right here, it looks like. All right, guys, so my battery died and my microphone lost sound, so hopefully this is going to pick up. I got a poly cap here, another film cap here. There's a resistor, and it's got a little heat shrink on it, so that's probably because it's standing up. So here we go with our protection. We have our 3 MOVs, we have our 2 PTCs here, plus we have that surface mount PTC up here. So there's plenty of protection. The other things, we have the slot in the board there, slot in the board there. Yeah, it looks like it's well isolated. There's a couple connectors. See that little pin there? This is from the current, so I think that's how we know which our probe setting is. See, there's no connector there. So I think that's how we can tell when our probe's in the current, you know, the milliamps or the amps. So we have volts and common here. It's even designated on the board there. So, okay, now I've taken out a whole bunch of screws, okay? 2 down here, 4 across here, and 2 more up here. And then these 4, I think, hold the display, so I think I'm okay there. But I think I've got them all out. And, oh, and I had to remove this guy. Got to make sure I put him in the right orientation. It's a nice wiper, I think. It looks nice. It's nice and clean. Like I say, there's no vias. By the way, that looks like it's gold plated, right? Same on the board. So, I mean, a lot of attention to detail in this meter. It looks like there's just a slight amount of grease on this. Okay, so let's see if I got all the... I'm hoping I don't have to take apart anything more because it feels like it's in there pretty tight. So I think I do. I think... Shoot. I was hoping I didn't have to take all this apart, but let me do that. Alright guys, I got lucky. As I turned it, I saw one of these bosses, that green plastic boss, came up connected. These are metal bosses to the board. So I was hoping that the metal bosses I could leave connected to this board, and then I could pick this up, and it feels like it's loose. So I'm going to try to pull it up. I just wanted you to watch me here. Oh, it's coming loose. I always hate taking these apart because I hate getting dust up in this part of the display. So there's our rubber with our carbon pads. There's the typical kind of knob that we've seen in so many meters. A metal shaft in the middle. So that all looks like it's done very nice. So here we are. Another board. So the display has its own little touch pads to come up here. And those are kind of interesting looking, right? Those are nice. Oh, so that's what gives the textile feel. They're like little textile buttons. So it's not just a carbon, because I didn't really notice the carbon on the ends of those that you usually see. So yeah, okay, that's why, because they're actually a textile, tactile button, which gives that nice feel. So really high quality. There are some parts, though, some MELF resistors. Here's our big current sense resistor. I was wondering if I was going to see that here. There's another one here, so I'm guessing this is for the 11 amps, and this is for the smaller current. Then we have some more those large resistors that we saw over here. There's 6 of them. There's 3 here, and where we saw 3 here, there's 3 on this side of the board. You can see just enough board to run a trace across the board there. Man. Looks like some nice work here. Big, large cutouts for the terminals to come through. And these things are rigid as heck with these plastic covers. And we have 2 more PTCs on this side. So, wow. Okay, so we have 4 PTs, 3 MOVs. So, yeah, guys, they've gone the extra yard. Here's our buzzer. Some more chips up here. And there's another IC there. And I'm sure, oh wow, there's a bunch of ICs underneath the thing. I'm sure there's a large, yeah, there's a large one down there. Forgive me if I don't pop out the display, but yeah, I'd rather not take a chance with that. All right, couldn't help myself. I took the, I'm taking the 4th screw out here on the display. They did such a nice job. I should reveal whatever they did here underneath. Now let's see, what else is holding this thing on? I took the 2 screws off of this board. Oh shoot, okay. Let's see. This part's soldered on, so I think I gotta clip off this green part. Oh, there we go. Something happened. Oh. Yeah, hopefully I didn't break something. Okay, so there's the display. And here is the chips. Let's see, can we see that? Okay, that's the chipset down there. Man. Yeah, look at the trace work, just laying out the board. Boy, that, I mean, if you've done this kind of work before, you can really appreciate that artwork down there. That is, yeah, that's impressive. Very nice. That board there, I think these are LED drivers, I think. Let me know what you guys think. I haven't seen this board before, so... wow, they have gone the extra yard on this thing. This thing, yeah, I'm glad I took it off, because if I didn't break it, at least we could see somebody's nice work here. And this part here, oh, I think it's just a connector that's holding it on. Hold on. Oh, I got it off. Yeah, look at that. Look at those bosses, those metal bosses. Those are nice. Wow. Like I said, just excellent work. These are film capacitors here. It looks like a nice ground plane. I mean, you see the ground plane with the traces running through it. Just beautiful work. Yeah, the artwork here, besides the chips, just look at the artwork. Yeah, and the cutouts. you know, all the shapes of the boards. These boards, when you do all these shapes, it adds cost for sure. So yeah, just wow, that's pretty cool. All right, guys, that is a pretty darn nice board. I mean, just all the artwork done on that board. So we have this board, then we have our little touchpad board with all the little tactile buttons with our connector and bosses there, little brass bosses, which I'm kind of tossing around. And then we have our LCD display, which has our, it looks like kind of a zebra stripe kind of connector that's going to come down and connect to these guys. And then this guy had the dual stack board. So yeah, there's, you know, three boards here, and this module, which I'm sure has a board inside. Now, for those that you do board work, look at the pins that mate to this connector. And because they wanted to keep everything low profile, look, it almost looks like individual pins, right? But as I flip it over, you see the little Berg strip? So it's mounted right angle on this side with through holes going through the other side. So pretty interesting. I mean, that's, you know, ingenious, right? You come up with some pretty cool ways to do things, which sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. And in this case, those pins are very nice, and look at that, mounts very nicely. So got that put back in. There's 4 screws that just hold that board together. One of the things putting a board with 4 screws like that, it's going to stiffen up the rest of the board. It's kind of a board stiffener. So it's in a way, it's giving, you know, rigidity around this massive chip here, and the center of this board with all the, you know, the other things going on. Yeah, just add some rigidity in the center of the board. And to that point, you know, this board here, same kind of thing. We have 2 and 2. So again, this board here with all the cutouts and everything, this adds some rigidity to this board that's been perforated because of the voltage isolation techniques that's been used. And you can see how the trace has been beefed up with solder. So, you know, the traces, I should say. Large surface mount chips, I really like those versus those big bars, because these guys are high accuracy. You're not dependent on the length of that bar and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't have to be, yeah, these are just, hey, they're surface mount resistors. They work. I thought I'd show a close-up of the LEDs and resistors. That's really what they look like. You have an LED and a resistor next to each LED. So that's just a light bar. And that's what gives this display such a nice, evenly lit. See, it goes right across the back side. And so, yeah, somehow, oh, I see. This is a light bar here. See the clear plastic? So, yeah, there's clear plastic here. So that's part of this display here. Well, there's a gap between here and here. But this plastic, I think that's a light bar that goes across there. So that's how it gives a nice, even lit display. Hey guys, I almost forgot to point out the little photo sensor that looks through that little window there for the backlight control. So yeah, that's that photo sensor right there. I just wanted to mention, as I put the display on with these 4 screws, there's little plastic things on this display that that set themselves into the board. They're very small up here in the corners, but that's how it positions itself. And then, you know, when you snug the screw in, you can feel the board stiffen up. So again, you know, it's getting stiffened across here with the display. It's getting stiffened across here with this pad, and then it's stiffened again back here. And then these fuses, like being erected this way, you know, it just makes for, you know, what feels like kind of a flexible board when it's all stripped down. Very rigid when it's all put together. So I'm just cleaning things up, cleaning my fingerprints and stuff off the plastic here and the buttons here and off the inside lens. I'm going to try to blow it out. And so yeah, okay, and then this block thing here is this nice rubberized thing that pushes down. You can rocker this thing. So it's interesting how that works with the buttons here, so that when you're rockering this back and forth, you can hit this one or that one. And whatever they put inside here gives some kind of form to it, so it feels pretty stiff and hard in there. Kind of interesting. Another attention to detail, as I put this pad on here, there's a little lip that goes around the plastic, so this is all, so it seals off all this from inside the meter, so it keeps that nice seal. You know, as I was putting this together, I was a little concerned. I noticed that it looked like it had been fractured, but it doesn't connect to anything. So that must have been part of the plastic injection process, because the bosses that get screwed are here, you know, these two things. You can see, and this guy here, and then you can see the 4 around the buttons to give nice contact to those buttons. And then there's the 2 up there. So yeah, this one and this one are not used. All right, as I put this together, I'm making sure these 2 blades slide up into here, the battery terminals, and then I forgot to mention the spring. That spring makes contact with the plate here, so it actually right down in here makes contact with this EMI shield, so that it takes any energy from that shield off the shield, or grounds it to the same ground plane here. And then you know when you got it back together right, because these blades are in those slots, you know, held in place, and it goes together like a glove, guys. And this thing, like I said, it's stiff as heck. You can imagine when you get this on there, it just makes it even more stiff. I mean, that is one rugged meter. All right, I put the batteries in. I haven't bolted the board down or anything. I'm gonna have to take it back off again, but I just want to make sure the display's clean and it works, and I've got this thing in the proper place. So do I? Okay, it says fuse. I'm missing the fuse. Forgot to demonstrate that before. Okay, and it turns on. Okay, so I just want to make sure I had this guy in the right position. But yeah, there's the fuse warning if you're missing the fuse. Now let's put one of them in. Well, I'm gonna have to screw this thing back together. I guess I could put the fuses in. Okay, still missing the fuse. And there we go. So that's how that works. And we're back in action. Everything looks clean inside. I still have the plastic film on. It looks nice and clean. I'm going to keep that on for a while. Just keep the meter nice and protected. Who knows? Maybe one of these days I'll give this guy away. I don't know. It's such a nice meter. Yeah, I still have all these screws to put back in there. Some of them are machine thread. Some are plastic thread, depending on where they go. You know, the ones that hold that board together, that was the metal bosses, these 4 screws here. So, hey, give me a thumbs up if you like this, because, yeah, this took some effort, and I always hate taking meters apart because you want to make sure they're clean when you put it back together. All right, talk about board stiffeners. I mean, I've got this screw in here that holds this back assembly together, and, you know, these 4 banana plug jacks going through there. Everything's kind of held stiff here. We got 2 screws here, one right between the fuses, one over here. And then I've got the 4 here for this, you know, that pad that went across here. Yeah, so then I have the 2 plastic ones up here too. So yeah, there's quite a few screws. Yeah, that's a lot of screws that keep everything square. You've got the 1 here, 2 there, that's 3, 4, this to hold this guy down. And then we've got the 5, 6 up here, the plastic ones. And then we have the 4 that go into the metal bosses here, and then another 4 here for the display. So you got 8 plus the 6. So that's quite a few screws, and that's not counting the ones that hold the rest of the stuff together. That's just what I had to do to take the back off. So more about the construction. This boss here, that's going to be, you know, there's metal inserts inside these guys and these 4 things that screw the back on. So they're metal inserts, which is really nice, instead of plastic screws that you find in so many meters. They have metal bosses, and then there's this plastic post that goes down this plastic post. So kind of like this rib here. So this thing is, when it's put together, it is snug, and, you know, I'm going to push that cord up in there like that, and when you put this thing together, it is snug. I got to make sure the fuse brackets go in here, so I got to hold it up so I can line it, and it is going to be square. So over all the years of putting meters together, you know, designing, developing meters, they have come up with, you know, the recipe to make a very safe, you know, very robust meter. And like people like, you know, this meter, who designed this, KPS, whoever it is that designed this, has done a really nice job. And using the metal inserts was a really nice touch. Just a lot of attention to detail, and you get a very solid, very, you know, high functioning and precise meter, high digits, just really cool meter. So I think it's neat when a meter manufacturer reaches out to me, and they gave me this for free. And, you know, they just said, hey, we saw your meter review and we want to throw one of ours into your reviews. And that just shows the confidence they have in their meters and how they're going to stack up against the meters they've seen me review as high-end meters. So, yeah, I haven't heard from them since they sent this to me. So, yeah, there you go. And this thing goes together very nice. By the way, this is a logging meter, has deep memory. And so, yeah, it also has Bluetooth as well as the optical port. So, yeah, and it came with the magnetic holder and temperature probes and all that. So, yeah, watch my other review, and I think you'll be impressed. So, hope you like this. And I think half, that's one thing I don't know, guys. It says half. I looked in the manual, and I think that might mean the battery's near half empty. I'm not sure. Or it's over half full. I don't know what that means. Half empty or half full. But yeah, it's come up. I've been using this enough where I've lost one bar on the battery. But it's funny because I've used it quite a bit, and I've had the display on a lot. And yeah, it's too bad you can't see the display with all my shop lights. Yeah, it's funny. It doesn't show up as bright in the camera as it does in person. It's not super bright, but it's nice, evenly lit display. All right, guys, so what do you think? It looks pretty nice, huh? Looks like it's really well built. A lot of attention to detail. 2 thumbs up. Thanks, KPS, for sending this out to me. And thanks for my patrons. Want to give appreciation to you guys all the time. And the members of my channel. I've got 3, I think. So if you want to become a member, there's a button down below. There's a super thank you down below if you want to buy me a cup of coffee or a beer, even. Might be beer time. I think it's time for a rant. So you might see that real soon. But anyway, there you go. The teardown. Under the hood. What do you guys like for a title on these? So that you'll catch your attention when I do the next one. I used to write articles and I'd call it Under the Hood. But, you know, the teardown, whatever. Let me know, okay? Do you like them separate from the review videos so they're shorter and it's just focused on the teardown? Let me know that too. Give me your comments. Appreciate it. And thanks for watching. Free way to support the channel is hit the like button, the thumbs up button down below. If you liked the video, if it was helpful, yeah, that helps the channel. And, you know, you guys have heard of the YouTube analytics and all that. They share it and they think, hey, people like it, and so it does better. So appreciate that. All right, guys, thanks. We'll see you next time.